Hey everyone, Brandflix here, back with another Eternal Return video. Today's topic is going to be something that's kind of irrelevant if you're a veteran or expert player, but if you're a new or novice player, you might want to watch this video just because I'm going to explain a concept that's integral to the game and isn't really explained well as far as I'm aware in the tutorial. That's going to be routing quickly, understanding what your route wants to do, and how to make a route by yourself if you're curious about that. So why is it important to route quickly? If you guys are, here for a while, then you would know by now that Eternal Return's early game is all about speedrunning, which isn't something that's very intuitive if you come from a different battle royale where you can start fighting the moment you drop and open your first box. You do have to kind of scale up a little bit in Eternal Return. There's no such thing as like a level 1 cheese, there's no such thing as like drop and go. You have to build a few items before you can start really playing the game. And that's something that really isn't intuitive just because in every other game that's like a MOBA or a Battle Royale, you can really start throwing hands from the very start, but Eternal Return is unique in the way that you have to build for the first minute and a half before you can start fighting. So you'll see that happen here where me and my teammate, we build up, we spend like the first minute and a half building up very quickly, and by the time we really take our first fight, we already have a few items and there's 2 of us, which is why we're allowed to take this fight. If we didn't have the 2 of us and we tried to take a fight like our second zone with no items built, the 2 people we end up killing would have easily ran away and it would have been a waste of both of our times. But since we both have items and since this Hedgen is blatantly disrespecting us, we do end up taking a few free credits, we end up taking a few free kills, and it's a pretty big boon just because obviously having an influx of credits this early really snowballs us. It lets us get our transition items faster, it lets us get our ranked points in a nicer state for our mentality, and it ends up delaying our opponents as well. Same thing goes with this Aiden. He walks by, doesn't have his full items. Obviously very hard to 1v2, but our builds line up and we didn't plan for it, but this would be like a good build for ranked where we are able to do this consistently game by game because of how important Uptown is. So the second video is going to be showing how fast you can actually route in this game if you have a character that's built for it and if you understand how to like optimize your time in the game to route quickly. So Hedgen is a character, again, with a very good mobility spell in her E. She is able to jump across walls, which saves a lot of time in general because obviously I don't have to walk around that corner, which would have been 5 extra seconds. I'm able to jump across many walls that save me like +5, +10, +15 seconds, which lets me get into places that you ordinarily wouldn't be able to get to in time if you're playing most other characters. And you'll see how that really helps me out going to archery range because I'm going to be archery range fast enough to be there comfortably before wolves spawn. And we're going to end up seeing a Haze who can't really fight me because I'm going to have way more items than her, and she's going to let me have all of archery range for free, which gives me and my team, I think, positive like 80 credits that we wouldn't ordinarily have if I didn't route very fast. So that first part is going to be about how to route quickly and the benefits you get, and the second part of this Hedgen clip is going to be how I kind of flub it up and don't understand my own character's power level compared to everyone else's, because they do end up running into another duo and they do kill me for free credits and ranked points, which is a very bad misstep on my part just because I shouldn't be giving characters or other teams that sort of free benefit, because that kill ends up letting them snowball and it ends up ruining my game. So yeah, you'll see like this Haze throws a skill shot. I think at some point she's like, oh, I'm not able to contest this person because they have way more than me and I don't want to die for free. And yeah, it's a lesson I should have taken later on, but again, lets me take the entire archery range for free. I'll show you guys how beneficial this can be in the Adina clip that's following up after this, just because if you do take all of archery range and then a few mobs from school, you can actually get your weapon mastery to a point where you can get your weapon skill very, very fast, which is obviously very important for a lot of characters. So if you're making a build, you should keep this in mind because having a snowballing effect on your, or let's back that up. Weapon mastery is determined based off how much damage you do, and weapon mastery also increases your damage done. So with that in mind, it's obviously a snowball effect where if you have a lot of weapon mastery, you're going to get more weapon mastery because you do more damage. And so the faster you get your weapon mastery, the faster you're leveling up your weapon mastery, and obviously you can see how that cascades into a point where it can be very ridiculous very fast. So we're at the point of the Hedgen clip where I walk up to a Dylin who is absurdly strong early game. This is a very stupid decision by me. I was kind of egoing here because I wanted to see how much Hedgen did to a Dylin. Obviously total mistake. The Haze didn't even need to be there to kill me, and I ended up going down, giving free credits and everything. But yeah. Here's a clip of the Adina clip where I do the exact same thing. You can tell how much slower in my routing because I'm not playing Hedgen. So Thankfully, Adina does do a lot of base damage, so I'm able to still take these wolves very quickly, but you can just tell how much slower I am in terms of time because I'm playing a character that doesn't have a good dash option over walls. Obviously, I'm not showing the entire montage of me farming because that's a lot of time to go through, but again, you can just see like I'm still crafting, I still have an arm piece, I'm still trying to find all my items, and by this time as Hejin, I've already cleared the second set of wolves, I'm running down to school, or I'm about to die, and yeah. You can just see just how much of a quality difference this is, and oh, I didn't realize this is in the part, or in this video. I find a heart, and I push her out, which is again, a lot of free mastery for me, because I get to box with a heart and live. Heart, obviously a very strong character at the moment, probably the best auto attacker in the game, and she does a lot of damage regardless of the point of the game she's in, so the fact that I managed to build faster, and I'm also playing a character that's geared for it, shows just how strong that is. And I probably kept a little bit too much of this in the video, but you'll see the moment I kill like a few chickens, the bat in school, my Arcana skill will pop up. And again, if you're playing a character like a glove character, maybe like a bow character, shuriken character, this is a huge boon because that means you have a lot more damage for yourself very early on. Arcana weapon skill is pretty nice, but it's not super important, so it's not that big of a deal that I have it now. But you know, any bit of damage helps, especially when you're kind of an ego player like I am and you're bored of not fighting at any given point. So yeah, so for the second part of the video, I'll be explaining how I personally approach building a route and how I think you should approach it. So obviously, to get into the route screen, you have to go into loadout, and then you'll be opening up a list of characters and the save plans on the right side. So today I'm thinking about building an AP stack Sniper Aya route because I haven't seen any of those. I'm not recommending that you actually try this out yourself. This is just what I'm planning on doing just because I meant to do it anyways. So obviously when you hit create save plan, you're going to choose your weapon down here. Even if it's only one weapon, you still have to pick it, which is a bit annoying of an extra step, but whatever, it's fine. So now that I'm in this screen, you can choose your weapon first. Personally, I wouldn't choose your weapon first just because on most characters, there are multiple weapons that achieve the same purpose. So for example, Adina, she has an option between Hermit and Star. Celine, you could argue between going Ruthenian Marble and Incendiary Bomb, or even Sticky Bomb. Kathy, you could argue on Dual Swords. You really just have Black Butterfly, but if you're really kind of like looking for more options, you could go Dagger Jackie instead and go like Highlander Dirk or Mountain Slicer. So don't worry about your weapon too much unless you're really going for a specific interaction with that weapon. I would start with looking at the equipment that you want around it. So I'll click on the chest pieces, head pieces, leg, and arm. So when I'm building a Sniper Aya AP stack plan, I'm really looking at two options here. I'm looking at Chang Pao and I'm looking at Tuxedo. So Tuxedo gives me a crit chance, which would be nice because I do plan auto attacking, but Chang Pao is a lot more utility in the fact that I get more attack speed and I get a bit of defense. So Tuxedo is much squishier, but Chang Pao might be more interesting. So I'm gonna pick Chang Pao. And then I'll go here and just see where the auto create save plan takes me. So this is important because you have to understand there's a lot of routes that are very contested at certain points. So obviously Alley and Uptown and Forest are three really big ones because these three zones end up being looted clean by the time you get there. So I'm looking at my options and I'm seeing that, you know, Temple and School isn't too bad. Temple might be contested occasionally, School might be contested, but it's not Alley, Uptown, or Forest, and I do have good Hyperloop options between the two. If I spawn on the bottom of Temple, I'll have the Stream Hyperloop. If I spawn at the top, I have obviously the main Temple Hyperloop. And then School, if I spawn back here, up here, it is pretty unfortunate, but there is a Hyperloop there, and I do have some pretty good access to these zones, so depending on what my other items are, I'm doing pretty well for myself. Then I'll click on craftable equipment just to see if there's anything big I'm missing. So there is Dragon Dobok, which I might actually prefer over Chang Pao because it does give armor penetration and cooldown. So I'm actually gonna choose Dragon Dobok instead. Click back, look at my headpieces. I think the only really good one is going to be Cowboy Hat. Attack Ops is really good for auto attackers that spam a lot of auto attacks. And Diadem is pretty good. Maybe I'll just go Diadem, but I do want some attack speed just because of how Aya's kit now scales with attack speed. So I'm gonna go back here, click auto create again, and see if I can still maintain the School Temple start. So this actually seems a little bit more rough just because gas station is another route that could be taken up very quickly, but it solves one of the problems I had where if I spawned at the top, it'd be inconvenient for me to get into gas station, or it'd be inconvenient inconvenient for me to route down to the Hyperloop. So this route actually isn't too bad, because you can go to temple, Hyperloop here or here, go to school, Hyperloop or walk. There's a loot zone in this direction and here, and the Hyperloop here. So honestly, this isn't looking too bad, and you can already see that I have intervention as a build route option, so it's perfect. I can keep going with this routing direction and still be fine. And so I'll look at my detailed inventory really quickly to do a sense check to see if I have triples of anything. School with scissors, I need 2 of, which is fine because there are 2 scissors in the loot zone. But I need to be careful of not going any more scissor items, because once you need too many items, your route becomes bad, because that means you'll need to loot multiple loot zones, which could end up being very inconsistent. So arm piece, I'm going to try and see if I can get Sheath of Shah Jahan in here, because I think that's the best AP arm piece at the moment. And then for legs, I'm either going for Feather Boots or Maverick Runner, so I'll leave that up to the auto builder, just because I want to see if I can sneak that in. Temple, gas station, hospital, school. Honestly, it could be a better route, but it's not too bad, because I think hospital is going to be decent when it comes down to killing wolves. So, you know, I'll take it. And then I'll check the detailed inventory to make sure I'm not going too ham. Gemstone's very good. It's gonna be very fast temple loot. School's very quick, gas station's very quick, hospital's very quick. So this is like a pretty good build. I'll check here. Glacial Crampons is the only boot option, which is very suboptimal. But if I want to keep this build routing quickly, then it's what I'm going to choose. And you can always take, you can always like make another pair of boots later on, or you can opt to like pick better boots off of someone's corpse. But for testing purposes, I'm going to go with this item. I'm going to name it something nonsensical, and I'm trying to choose random attack skills and augments for myself, just to make sure that, you know, it looks good, or just to make sure I can save the build rather. So once you've made your build, my personal recommendation would be always to go into training and then go into practice mode to make sure that your route actually works. So obviously I'm going to be playing my Sniper Aya build that I just created. I can see it selected here, so I'm going to go ahead and quick start. And I really just want to make sure that the routing is nice and that everything does actually make sense, because practice tool is something that kind of assumes the optimal, you know, scenario where no one's contesting your route. So if your route is slow, even in practice tool, that's not a good sign for the actual game, because that means that if you, it's obviously not a good sign for the actual game, because if your route's slow on even a place where no one's contesting you, that means it's going to be even slower with people contesting you, so you want to make sure that at least that much is guaranteed. So you can see I'm trying to click as fast as I can. You'll hear my keyboard and everything in the video probably, so sorry about that. You can see here I'm like, okay, I got a good zone. I'm gonna spawn here, go from here to here, and it looks like I'm going pretty fast. I usually try and craft only when I'm at a box or right after a hyperloop, because when you're just post hyperloop, you're pretty slow anyways, and while you're looting a box, there's like my theory is like some human reaction time where you have to sit there and process what's there anyways. I'm gonna see if I can kill this bat, because it'll be really useful for the leather, and I can. So another little optimization there I can do. If the bat's alive, I can always W it to take it down. I'm in hospital a little slow, not too bad. I just need 2 items from here. I think this area would generally be looted by the time I'm here, but there's a small chance that 1 glue and 1 pair of scrap metal would be either here or here. So all things considered, this route looks pretty good. I'm going to be full build about the time when wolves spawn, considering decent spawns and decent looting speed. Not the fastest build, but honestly the fact I can be fully built at this time when a lot of characters in this zone wouldn't be fully built is pretty optimal. So I might pull this into a normal game or a ranked game if I'm feeling spicy. So obviously, again, here, wolves are here. About this time, I would like open up a test dummy and load into them to see if I actually do good damage. Honestly, killing these animals, it seems not bad. So again, might try this myself in a bit. But yeah, that is how I would approach, you know, your macro, explaining your build route, explaining how to make a build. Hopefully it was informative, because this was kind of a more experimental video on my end. Hope you guys enjoyed. I'll see you guys next time. Have a good day or night wherever you are, and yeah.